All right, so we are going to go through this. Don't worry about the warm-up. We don't really have time to go over it because we got to get through notes today, and we got to deal with our textbooks in a little bit, as you'll see. So with 5.2, we're writing equations from tables, right? Now, not all of these tables are going to lend you to writing an equation. I don't know if I used that word right, but you're not going to be able to write an equation for all of them, as a lot of you saw towards the end of this worksheet, right? So the first thing that we're going to have to do here is find what? What do we have to find first? Slope. We got to find the slope, right? So we're going to look for our change in y and our change in x. From 2 to 3, that's plus 1. We went over number 1 together, right? Okay, then I'm going to go to number 2. 5 to 10 is plus 5. 10 to 15 is plus 5. And then down on the bottom we got plus 2 and plus 2. So is our slope going to be 5 over 2 or 2 over 5? 2 over 5, right? It's always the change in y over the change in x. 2 over 5. And if we want to find our b value, should we expand this table to the left or to the right? Left. To the left, right? We've got 5 down here. So 0 is what we're looking for. It's going to be to the left of 5, right? So if we go to the right and we add 5, when we go to the left, we're going to subtract 5. We're just going to do the opposite, right? That gives us the x value of 0 that we want. And when we subtract 2 on the bottom, instead of adding 2, we land at just 1. So our y-intercept is at the point 0, 1, making our b value equal to just 1. So our equation y equals 2 over 5x plus 1. Please make sure you're actually writing the x in there. I've seen a lot of people with their equations lately that don't have an x, and they just write y equals 2 over 5 plus 1. Very close, but you got to have every single part of our equation correct. Right? Yes? We'll get there. We'll get there. Yes and no is the answer to that question. Yes and no. All right, down to number 4. Number 4 on the top, we've got a change of plus 1. And on the bottom, what's our change? From negative 8 to negative 12. Minus 4, right? Minus 4. So our slope's going to be negative 4 over 1. That's just negative 4. We can set up the first part of our equation right there. Y equals negative 4x. Now we just have to find b. So in order for us to find b, again, we're going to have to expand this table out to the left. And we're going to need to add in 3 more boxes here. Because let's just follow the pattern of these x values. We've got 3, 4, 5. What would come after 5, do you think? 6, right? 3, 4, 5, 6. What number would come right before 3 then? 2. Before that would be 1. And before that would be 0. And that's the trickiest part, is working backwards on our table, right? So on the y side of this table, if we're subtracting 4 as we move across, we go the opposite way, we're going to add 4. So negative 8 plus 4 gives us negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 gives us 0. And I saw a lot of people stop right here and go, oh, my b value is 1. That's not the case. We're looking for a 0 x value on the top of our table. If we see a 0 on the bottom, that's fine, but it's not going to be our y-intercept, right? We want a 0 for our x value. We add 4 once again, and we get 0, 4. So our b value is just positive 4. And our equation looks like that. Questions on 4? Perfect. Down to number 6. Now here we got 5, 6, 7, right? So if we want to expand this out to the left, we're going to need a whole lot of spaces to go if we want to get there. So for this one, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use b equals y minus m times x. I'm going to use that formula once we get to finding b. We can see our change in x and our change in y, they're both plus 1, right? So our slope's going to be 1 over 1, which is just positive 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first point in our table, 5, 3, and I'm going to take our slope of 1, and again, I'm going to plug it into this equation, b equals y minus mx. The y here is 3, the m is 1, and the x is 5. Okay, so if you don't want to expand the table out, or if that's confusing to you, but you understand this equation, by all means, use that equation. You don't have to expand out the table. That's just one option. 1 times 5 gives us 5, and 3 minus 5 gives us negative 2. Y equals 1x minus 2, or you could just write y equals x minus 2. We don't need to have that 1 in front of the x, it's implied.
Are you wrong if you do put it in the...
No, it's still right. It's just cleaner to not write it, but I wouldn't mark any points off if you included it. Questions on 6 at all? If you did it real quick, give me a thumbs up if you expanded the table out on number 6 instead of using the equation. A couple people, did you get the same answer? Okay, good. So it doesn't matter, option 1, option 2 from our notes, both are fine. Now we get down to number 8, and as you might have seen in number 7 as well, there's something wrong here, right? From 6 to 7, that's plus 1. From 7 to 8, that's plus 1. That seems fine, right? But from negative 3 to 0, that's plus 3. And from 0 to 2, that's plus 2. So it looks like we don't have a constant change in y here. Therefore, this is a non-linear function, or line. It's still going to form a line if we graph it. It's just going to look like this. Okay? We don't want that. We don't want a line that just randomly changes directions, because then it's not linear. It's not a straight line. So if we don't see a constant change in y, or if we don't see a constant change in x, we can't find the slope. We can't find the y-intercept. This is a non-linear equation. I know we didn't explicitly talk about that. I wanted to see if anyone would catch the fact that there's no constant change in y, which a lot of people did, so great job. Questions about 27 at all? Good. Real quick, we're not going to go over the odds, but I just want to point out number 3. If we expand this table to the left, right, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. We're never going to find an x value of 0 if we do that. Instead, we can just expand it out to the right. We're adding 1. We'll add 1. Oh, sorry, we're subtracting 1. So we'll subtract 1 and get 0. Down here, we're adding 3, and we'll get 14. So make sure your b value on number 3 is 14 real quick. I saw a whole lot of different stuff. 3x plus 14. Negative 3x, sorry. Negative 3x plus 14 for number 3. All right?